Hello everyone and welcome back to Jenna Voice. As you can see, I'm not wearing any makeup today, and let me tell you, that took some guts to do a video like this. I don't show my makeupless face to that many people. I don't wear a ton of makeup, honestly, on a regular basis, but anyway, it's a personal part of me that I am sharing with all of you, so I just wanted to say that this took a little bit of guts to do this video, so I hope you guys really appreciate it. The main reason I'm not wearing makeup is because I'm gonna put some on for you. I'm gonna do a makeup video, my first one, but disclaimer before I even start this video, I'm not like most of those girls on YouTube who are amazing at makeup and do all of these tutorials. Honestly, most of the products I have you can get at the drugstore. They're pretty cheap. And a lot of the techniques I use are by trial and error and watching other people, so hopefully this will be pretty easy to follow for most of you. I thought this could be helpful to make just a video on how I do my audition makeup typically. If you're a younger singer who doesn't usually wear a ton of makeup on a regular basis and is wondering, how much should I be wearing? What is too much? What's not enough? Sort of thing. Or you're just looking for a few tips and tricks on what looks professional for a singer's audition, this video is for you. So without further ado, here are my steps to doing makeup for an audition. So first of all, clean your face. I've already washed it. And then I also use a toner afterwards. I'm new into toners, but I'm loving them. I think the one that I'm using right now is the Thayer's Witch Hazel Toner. Again, you can get it at your local drugstore. And then after that, I moisturize. It's important to use an SPF moisturizer during the day. That's the only way to prevent your skin from aging prematurely and decreasing its risk from getting melanoma or skin cancer. And as I am a much paler person, as you can tell, my risk of getting age spots and skin cancer is probably a little higher than others, so I take that very seriously. Afterwards, I use a primer, which I've also already put on. The one I'm using that I've been using for a while is by Neutrogena. It's their Healthy Skin Primer, and that also has some SPF in it. It comes out looking like it has a bit of color, but it really blends in colorless. It doesn't provide any coverage, but it just creates a really soft and smooth texture to the skin on my face and a nice clean base before I put on foundation. So if that sounds like it'll be helpful to you, go ahead and try a primer that does something similar to that. But of course, all those things are optional to you, but I would just suggest cleaning and prepping your face before applying makeup. Okay, so foundation first. My thing with foundation, I have such a hard time finding the right shade for me, so bear with me on this. What I'm using right now, I'm actually blending two foundations that I have. One that's a little light on me and one that's a little dark on me. The problem is my neck and my face are two different shades. I don't know if you can tell in this lighting and on the camera, but my neck is a little lighter than my face, and my face also has a lot of redness and discoloration, so it's just hard to find something that works for all of those moving parts on my face. But anywho, I would suggest finding a foundation that is medium to full coverage. This is not the time to be wearing stage makeup, I think I should say first and foremost. Stage makeup, only wear for stage performances. Audition, it's an interview. You need to look really professional, but if you come in with stage makeup, you're gonna look a little clowny because you're probably not auditioning on a stage. Even if you are, you don't need stage makeup, so just don't wear stage makeup. Just find a good foundation that really matches your skin, as hard as that is. If you have to mix a couple like I do, there's nothing wrong with that, but find a foundation that works for you and provides pretty decent coverage. So what I do is I just put on the side of my hand a good like pea size amount of liquid foundation, and like I said, I'm blending two, so I just put those together and then I use my beauty blender. This is not the official beauty blender. Got this at the pharmacy, Target, love it. And I just use it to mix the two colors together on my hand. I also do moisten the face sponge. That's optional, but I've seen other people do it, and I like how that helps blend the makeup into the skin. You just get it wet, you squeeze it and wring it out, but it's still a little bit wet when you use it, so I find that really helpful. So once I've blended all the makeup together, I'm going to just cover my face in it. See, even now, I bet my face looks a little lighter than it did just previously. Well, it really matches my neck now, and once I get all the other parts of my makeup on, I promise I won't look so washed out. So if you're somebody like me, just trust in the process, match your skin as best you can, especially your neck. It just looks better if it blends into your neck rather than your face, even if your face is a different color. So keep that in mind when you're looking at foundations. So once I have my face covered in my base layer of foundation, I will take my concealer, and what I'm using for a concealer, it's actually a foundation. It's a compact powder foundation. This is by Avon, but you could get compact powder foundations just about anywhere, any pharmacy, and this is a bit light on me. Again, I'm terrible at matching my skin, but I promise it works when it's all together. So I just take this with my pointer finger and blend it in the places that I need it, particularly around my eyes, above and below, around my nose and on my nose, and a little on my chin, and then on any blemishes that I have, just to completely blend everything together and make it look as even as possible. All right, and that's about it. Wow, I look super white in the camera right now. Sorry. Also, I don't think I said in the beginning, but when I do audition makeup, I always do my makeup before I get dressed. So right now I'm just wearing a t-shirt, and I would recommend bringing that with you when you go to an audition, either a loose-fitting t-shirt or a tank top, something with a nice open collar that's easy to slip over your head after you're done, so that you don't mess up your makeup. And then if any spillage occurs, it's on a t-shirt and it doesn't matter, rather than your audition outfit and then you have to try to clean it up before your audition. Like, I just recommend that. And then of course, just throw your hair up in a bun or put a headband in, like, just to get your hair out of your face. And yeah, I usually like to get this done before the hair and getting dressed. Okay, so after I have my foundation and my concealer on, I like to do a little bit of contouring. This is optional, I would say. I don't think you necessarily need to contour. This is kind of up to you if you want to accentuate or mute certain features of your face. For me, at the minimum, I would say if you're interested in contouring would be to do the cheekbones to help bring those out. And then for me, I have a bit of a larger forehead, so I like to do a little bit of contouring around the top of my forehead to help just bring the focus back down to my eyes rather than big forehead. But that's up to you, depending on your face shape and your type and your preferences, to do whatever kind of contouring you want to do. So I like to use bronzers to contour. I don't know if that's strange for some people, but I like to use powder rather than a cream contour, just because my face is kind of oily. So I like to use more powder products if I can. Recently I found this one by L'Oreal Paris that I'm loving. I'm just gonna show it to you because it's amazing for me. As you can see, it's a much lighter brown and it's not orangey. Like, I have had the hardest time finding bronzers that aren't like straight up orangey toned and look silly on me, because yeah, I'm pale. So this this is a nice pairing, I think. So I'm really liking this. And then I just use this really thin brush. This is from an old bronzer of mine. Shows how exciting I am when it comes to my brushes. But yeah, all I do is I take just a little bit of the bronzer. You don't need a ton. And then I will follow the lower line of my cheek, kind of where the hollow starts. So I'm gonna accentuate that. Just kind of this back and forth motion, very lightly. You could also do this with your finger, like it's nothing too heavy. And yeah, it's hard to tell because there's more light on this side, but you can see just a little bit that I've accentuated that line there. And it might look a little harsh right now, but once you put blush on and get this all blended, it's gonna look very nice. So like I said, I also like to frame in the forehead, so I just follow the hairline and brush a little bit of bronzer up top. And yeah, that's what I do for bronzer and contouring. Dark contouring anyway. All right, so next I take a blush, and the one I'm using right now, I forget the name of the brand. I think it's Tumi or Lumi. But it started out as this kind of rose petal shape. I've been using it well, so it's kind of died down, but I get this in the lightest shade. It's called Romantic Rose. Again, a drugstore product. Pretty affordable. I love this color. It's just super natural, not too fake of a pink, and it blends really nicely. So I just take a blush brush. I don't think this one's even technically called a blush brush. It's a powder brush. I got this by e.l.f. Love e.l.f. Nice, cheap products. I think this was $3. Anywho, so I just swirl it a bit into my blush, and then I go in upward circular motions around the roundest part of my cheeks, all up in here. And I'll bring that forward a little bit. And the important thing here is to blend into that contour line we already made and not go past that. So you will no longer see that brown line we made earlier. It's all kind of just coming together, blending nicely, but it's still, we still have that definitive line of where the cheek begins and the jaw begins, or yeah. So yeah, do that on the other side as well. Same with the circular upward motions. And voila, we have some color in our cheeks that I took out by putting on foundation. Oh, makeup. Okay, so after blush, I like to put on highlighter. And you may be thinking, girl, you're pale enough. You don't need to look any lighter. Well, anyway, I like to. So this highlighter is also by L'Oreal, and I love it. It's the first highlighter I ever bought, and the color is just so bright and pigmented and natural at the same time. It kind of comes in these, it's four little colors, and you just swish them around together. They all blend really nicely, and it comes with a similar shaped brush to my bronzing brush that I was just using before. So I just swirl it like once in the pan, and then go to the highest part of my cheek and blend a little line like so. And then I will make sure to blend that just a bit into the blush and blend that up so there isn't like a straight line of highlighter. It kind of blends more so. And look at that glow though. I don't know if you can see because I'm already so pale, but oh, I just love it. It's a great highlighter. So do the same thing on the other side. Yes. Anyway, okay, so Next, what I like to do is take my little pinky and dip it into just the white section and put a little bit on my Cupid's bow. I think this is what that's called. A little bit there right above the lip, and then also on the very bridge, the top part, the highest point of my nose, little bit there. Yeah. And that's what I like to highlight. You could also use parts of this on your eyes. I use different eyeshadows, as I'll show you, for my eyes, but I just, I'm in love. I'm in love with that highlighter. Okay, next thing I like to do is my eyes and maybe a little with my eyebrows. I don't do a ton with my eyebrows because they're pretty naturally full, but when I'm wearing a full face of makeup, I'll usually just take a little bit of a very pale shade of brown. Like, you don't need to go super dark. It's amazing how just a really pale taupe will help fill that in really nicely. And I use eyeshadow. I don't get any special brow kits. I'm sorry, I'm lame, but I use this nude palette by Maybelline, and it's falling apart, so I'll just show you the colors here. I absolutely love this thing. It gets me so far with these colors. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this shade here. So I'm just gonna take a little bit with my eyeshadow brush, just a tiny bit. And also, it's another e.l.f. brush, couple of bucks, I love it. And I just fill in a little bit at the inner parts of my eyebrows. I don't take it too far out towards the end. It's really more just this intersection that I fill a tiny bit. Boom. Just a little bit fuller, but nothing insane looking. I like to keep it still fairly natural in appearance. And then I like to take an eyebrow setting gel. It looks like a tiny mascara. You can get these at the drugstore again. And I just comb through. And I just comb through the eyebrow in the direction that I want it to go. And this helps to keep the hairs from flying in all directions, as mine tend to do. Yep. Okay. So once that is done, I take that same taupe, like light taupe shape, and I will blend in the crease of my eyelid. And, ooh, what's that? And my reason for doing that is, again, like I said, we want to draw the attention to our eyes, because that is really the part that tells the story when we're singing, is our eyes. So doing our best to accentuate the eyes a little bit with the brow, with the eyelid. See, that makes just a little, it's subtle, but it makes a nice little difference from far away. Okay. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, so once that's done, I do a bit of eyeliner, and I personally like a bit of a smokier eye. It's still gonna look, it's not super blended, but I use eyeshadow because it's just frankly easier for me than like a pen or a gel tool. If you're more comfortable with those, absolutely use them, but I just prefer to take a really black eyeshadow and take my eyeshadow brush again, and I will just start from the outside, create a little wing out there, and work my way in. Okay, now you can see I have this big blob over here. Well, the awesome part of using eyeshadow is that I can just take my finger and create that wing with one little swoop. Look at that, that's pretty good. I don't hate it. Okay, now the tricky part is of course doing the other eye and trying to get them symmetrical. But again, just starting from that outer edge, leaving some excess on the outside and working your way in. And also for a drugstore eyeshadow palette, I have to say I'm really pleased with how like little fallout this thing has. I don't notice like a ton falling on my face, which is why I do my eyes like second to last. A lot of people will do those first because of fallout, but the Maybelline palettes I've been extremely pleased with. So if you're looking for a cheaper eyeshadow that doesn't have a lot of fallout, I recommend this one. And then again, I gotta create my line. Alright, so they probably don't look totally symmetrical, but from afar, that will do. That will do just fine. And honestly, our eye shape, both of our eyes, they're not symmetrical, so don't stress about getting your wings exactly the same. That is just not what life's about. And yeah, the great thing about doing black, it goes with everything. It's super classic. If I don't do black, I do a really dark brown for my eyeliner liner. But that's really it for doing my liner. It takes a few seconds. It's pretty easy. And if you make a mistake, it's easy to wipe off with your finger or a Q-tip. And then I take the whitest shade. You can see I've used a ton of this. Boop, 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 boop. And I put just a bit of this in the inner corners of my eyes and then just under my eyebrows to accentuate those. So it's kind of like highlighting again, but it just helps to brighten your eyes a bit and accentuate your brow bone, which just helps to show the expressions that you're making whilst you sing. So highlighter just the whole highlighting movement has been life-changing, frankly, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. Okie dokie. Now that that's done, I gotta do eyelashes. Now, I personally don't like to wear false eyelashes unless I have to. I'll usually wear them for stage makeup, but for just a regular audition, I don't wear them. And so what I do is I crimp these bad boys to get them up. This might scare some of you, but I always curl my eyelashes. I had one terrible incident where I accidentally ripped like a whole eye out because the clamp just like snapped all of a sudden. So that was a bit traumatic, but they grew back. We're okay, and now I just try to be extra careful, and you should be fine if you do the same thing. So I like to like pulse the eyelashes instead of like getting them in and holding it down for a certain period of time, because then I find that I get like this crimped line and it doesn't look as natural as I would like. So I kind of just go back and forth until I've curled these eyelashes and they look like they're gonna stay. So seriously, look at that difference. I don't even have mascara on yet, and they just look so much longer when they're curled. So life hack, curl your eyelashes if you want them to look long. Next, I take my mascara, and this is a CoverGirl mascara. I will always recommend CoverGirl mascaras. I've been using them for years and I think they're amazing. This is obviously the orange tube. I don't remember if it's Lash Blast, It's the volumizing one. So the wand is super thick and the bristles are rubber, so they're super malleable, but the formulas I just like because they're not clumpy at all. I hate seeing a really clumpy lash on a girl. I'm like, I want to help you. That doesn't look nice. So I love these. And what I do for my mascara, is I do one coat going up, as most people put them on. Put it on, I guess. And then I go to the bottom lashes. I kind of just wiggle those around. You can't be too crazy because then you'll get all over your eyelid and your under eye. And that's not the goal here. And then what I do is I go over top and I kind of swoop in outwards. And what this does is it gets mascara on the very tips of your lashes. And fun fact, the very ends of our lashes are like the palest shade of blonde that you can't see. So if you are able to get mascara on, and I find that the easy way to do it is doing that coat over the top of them, that makes them look super long and amazing. So yeah, and then I just do another layer over the bottom just to make sure they're all going upward in that upward direction that I wanted them to go. And yeah, look at the difference between this eye and this eye. Amazing. Yeah, I love CoverGirl. I love CoverGirl. Best mascaras. Anyway, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. And voila, the eyelashes are done. And I have no falsies on. And I think they look pretty dang good. Okay, so back is cramping. Okay, last thing I do is my lips. Now, I don't love to wear heavy lip products normally, but when you're performing, when you're doing an audition, you should be wearing some sort of color on your lips. So usually like right before I go into my audition, I'll put on some lipstick. The one that I really love, it's kind of this mauvey purple. It's pretty close to my natural color. I would recommend finding a color like that or any sort of shade of classic red. Works amazing. So I'll just put on a little chapstick beforehand and then a little lipstick. And that's pretty much it. And also, if you're wanting just like a drier feeling or a feeling of like pretty much nothing being on your lips, I recommend looking into lip liners and just covering your lips in that. That's what I do for my stage makeup. I'll do a whole other video on stage makeup, but lipstick you can usually feel a bit more, and that's not always the most appealing thing before an audition. And then also making sure you get inside your lips so you're not getting any on your teeth right before you go in for your audition. But that's about it. That's how I do my audition makeup. I hope this video was pretty easy to follow. The product should be easy to find at your local drugstore or something similar to it. Pretty affordable. It's easy to do. You look really professional. This is a very classic look, you know, the winged eyeliner, a classic color of lipstick, and a clean foundation face. Of course, you don't need to do it exactly like this. You can add a little bit of your own personality and flair. Just find what works for you best and makes you feel the best when you're walking into that audition. What gives you confidence and makes you feel like, yeah, I totally got this sort of thing. So I hope this video was helpful to those of you who were looking for makeup tips and just tips in general on how to get ready for your next audition. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up for me being brave enough to not have makeup on in the beginning of this video, as well as putting a makeup video together. I'm sure this is super long and I need to edit it down, and hope it wasn't too boring and lame. But anyway, leave a comment down below if you have other tips and tricks related to makeup and audition makeup. And as always, make sure you're subscribed so you can keep up with more videos like this, tips for singers, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.